jump right in. So if the loan value is 80% and the property is appraised at $95,600 and sold for $98,000, how much would the purchaser be permitted to borrow? Question in the chat. And not to confuse anyone, I won't read the numbers. So let's go ahead and see. So the loan value is 80%. And the property is appraised at $95,600 and sold for $98,000. How much would the purchaser be permitted to borrow? I'll give you guys a few more minutes, or not minutes, like 30
Yeah, I'm
seconds.
just now seeing the question. I had to go get my pencil, but
Oh, no worries. Yeah, feel free to do that. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, okay, let's see. Sorry, also was just responding to a few texts, so I did not see this. So let's see. So the loan value is based on the appraised value and not the sale price. The appraised value is $95,600, and 80% of that amount would be the maximum purchaser be permitted to borrow. Okay, so you will run into these on day to day, uh, or day to day. When you do become a real estate agent, these will come up. So when the appraiser comes out, the loan value, the bank will only loan what the appraised amount is. So if it's 80% of the appraised amount, so that would be 909. So if you just multiply 80% by the $95,600, that's where you get the $76,480. Just remembering when it says loan value, always do the appraised amount because they'll trick you and want you to do the sold with the sold amount being there as well. Okay, next question. A property is valued at $115,000 and is taxed at 47 mil. The assessment rate on the property is 42%. Calculate the yearly taxes. Okay. So, um, for this one, I guess I'll go over how they got that as well. I did the property value, then times the assessment rate, which was 42%. So that's the calculator they have on here. Times 0.42 equals. And then you want to divide that by 47 mils. Divided by, and that will be like 0.047. Okay, that's not right. Gosh, my calculator lets me use the percent, but this one doesn't bring it in. So I'll choose option B. Okay, so I was wrong on this one. Okay, so you'll want to find the, oh, actually, I don't know what I was doing. But anyways, when you do the 47 mils, you want to divide that by the $1,000, or I mean, sorry, divide by 1,000, because then that will get you the yearly taxes. So just like the loan value and the appraised amount go work hand in hand, the property mills is based off the assessed value, not the value, not the property actual value, but mills would then be based off the assessed value. So what we want to do is the $115,000 times that 42%, and then you multiply that by basically, so if you do 47 divided by 1,000, then you get 0.047. So what you get when you find the assessed rate, you multiply that by 0.047, and that is where you get your yearly taxes. Show you, so this times 2 equals that 48,300. So then you want to do 48,300 times 0.047. Cool. And then that is how you get the $2,270.10. Okay. A broker has 3.75 acres of land listed at 0.25 per square foot. The total listing is, oh, these are tough. Starting out with some tough ones. So this one, you'll need to know how many square feet are in an acre.
I will say it's B.
Right. Good job. All right. Good work. So yeah, so there are 43,560 square feet in an acre. And then multiplying that by the 3.75 equals 1,600 or 163,350 square feet. Then multiplying that by the amount per square foot will get you B. Good job. Okay, So a real estate agent presented an offer in which the buyer asked the sellers to pay their half of the escrow fees and their 3 points. The sellers accepted. They accepted $195,000 for the home, and the buyer is going to put down $55,000. How much will the seller pay for the buyer's points? Uh, kind of a few step process. And these can be tricky, but never be worried if you're wrong. I'm also probably wrong on half of these calculations. A good refresher.
Math has just never been my strong suit.
Right? Oh, we have Google and calculators and everything. And plus, like, a lot of these are already figured out for us and stuff. Best thing you'll want to figure out is your commission or like the square footage and things like that. This is tough, but it's good to know, but definitely hard when they just overload you with all the information and then try to trick you with different numbers. Okay. So I got for $4,200. So what I did was first since they're putting down $55,000, I subtracted that from the purchase price because the loan amount is gonna only be, the discount points are only gonna affect the amount that they're gonna owe on the home. So if they have 55,000 down, then they'll only owe the $140,000. Multiply that by 3%. And that's how I got also that $4,200. So 1% or 0.01 is what 1 point equals. Definitely super helpful to know that for the exam. Okay, next question. Joe and Mary want to add a recreation room. Their one-story home and garage together cover 1,600 square feet of the 7 by 110-foot lot. If the local zoning law limits building sizes to 25% of the land lot, what is the maximum floor area square footage that Joe and Mary can add to their home? Yeah, this question is for the home garage, 1,600 square feet of the 7 by 110-foot lot. It's like a multi-step problem as well. So I'm not going to confuse you guys and put my math, but we'll compare after.
D.
Right, D. Okay. So it is A, and I actually was trying in other things, so I'm not even get the answer yet. So, okay, so if you multiply the 75 by 110, you get 8,250 square feet. Okay, then multiply the square footage by the 25%, which the building cover ratio is going to be the 2,062.5 square feet of maximum. It's going to be permissible. Okay. So what they did was basically instead of worrying about this, they kind of tricked you with the 1,600, starting off with that, figure out how much the actual lot is. So 25% of the actual lot amount. So multiply 75 by 110, and then you multiply that by 25%, and you get that 2,062.5 square feet. Now you want to compare that with the 1,600 square foot of the existing building, subtract the two to then get the 462.5. Yeah, that was a tough one. A mortgager had a 67 $67,000 loan at 5.5%. What would the new principal be after the third payment if the monthly payment was $325? Actually, I don't even know how to say amounts anymore. So again, so we have a $67,000 loan at 5.5%. What would the new principal be after the third payment if the monthly payment was $325? Now, these are all hard questions. Luckily, there's not too many math problems on the exam, but regardless, these are tough. That's also getting beat. Oh wow, so this super complex problem. So first, find how much interest is to be applied to the loan over over a year. So you do 67,000 times 5.5%. So then we would pay $3,685 a month. Then you divide that by 12, and that's $307.08. And that's the interest on the first month. Then take the monthly payments and subtract the month's interest to find how much goes towards the actual principal. Okay, so you do 325 minus the $307.83, and you get $17.90, basically like 92 cents. For the second monthly payment, subtract that and what's paid towards the principal, and which is okay, so then that gets you $66,982.84. And then doing that based on this new principal amount multiplied by 5.5% equals $3,684 and around 15 cents. Divide that to get the 307, as this would be the interest paid on the second month. Also, this is super confusing, but watching the breakdown of how they do it is very helpful. Obviously, I'm going to put this in the chat right now. There are a few ways to do it. Oh, this message is too long. First half. Okay, cool. So down here, they give you the shortcut method. So when you first find the principal payment, the shortcut method, you first find the first month's principal payment and then multiply it by 3. Then you subtract that from the original amount, which you'll then get close to the correct answer. Okay, that's what I was doing, and I was getting not the right answer, but I was like, oh no. But I didn't get this at all. So yeah, so I knew we would have to multiply something by 3, but to get this, it's super confusing to then know to subtract $325 from the amount of interest per month. And then that is what that would be. Multiplying that by 3 over the 3 months gets you a total of $53.70, around 75 cents. And multiplying that from the original amount would then get you close to your correct answer. All right. In the sale of a 150 by 110 property at $2.50 per square foot, if the broker's commission is 6%, how much does the owner realize from the transaction? Cool. I also got B. Correct. Awesome. Love when these are a little bit easier. Okay, so it would be 150 by 100. You multiply 150 by 110, and you get $16,500 or 16,500 square feet. Then, since he's selling it for $2.50 per square foot, you multiply that by each other, so 16,500 by $2.50, and you get $41,250. Now, the broker commission is 6%. So you multiply 6% by the $41,250 and you get $2,475. So you subtract that from the $41,250 and that leaves you with $38,775. Good job. Cool. All right. A property is valued at $115,000 and is taxed at 40 mils. The assessment rate on the property is 35%. Calculate the yearly taxes. So again, you want to do, you want to find the assessed value to then add in the mills to find your yearly taxes. Good job. I also got you. Cool. Awesome. Look, we're getting better and better. So once you take that appraised value and then you multiply by the assessed rate, which is the 35%, you get the assessed value, which is $40,250. Then you want to multiply that by the mills. And whether you want to do, you can always do 40 divided by 1,000 and multiply it by the 0.04, or however you want to figure out the mills, but it is going to always be a decimal point basically when you're looking at the mills. And then you'll get the tax value is going to be $1,610 a year. Over. A rental property has a return rate of 7.5%. The monthly net rental is $650. What is the market value of the property? All right, also about you. Let's see how we do this. Well, that's a good guess. So in this case, rate of return is computed by dividing the annual net income by the rate of return. So what we want to do is multiply the $650, that's the monthly rent, by 12, and then you'll gross around $7,800 divided by the 7.5% is $104,000. Okay, so it sounds more complicated than
Okay, I was doing I was dividing it or multiplying it instead of dividing the 7.5. So that's where I was getting totally messed up. Okay.
yeah, right? Same. So if you do the 650, well, at least we all know, so we do that, multiply that by the 12 months, and then you want to do $7,800, and then divide this. Normally we're multiplying by, when we see percents. So this one wants us to divide it by the 7, so 5 equals, cool. And that's how they get the 104,000. All right, good job, guys. Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Boyd are approved for an $85,000 loan. Their monthly payments will be $9.75 per thousand for 30 years. How much interest will they pay over the life of the loan? So their monthly payments will be $9.75 per every $1,000 for 30 years. How much interest will they pay over the life of the loan? Oh, I just have that we got these. All right, so it was a, let's see what they did. So first, determine the amount which of the interest will be applied by dividing by $1,000. Okay, so it would be 85,000. You want to divide that by $1,000 since they just said per $1,000. Already tricky, so that's going to be $85. Then you want to multiply that by the $9.75, and you get $828.75. Multiplying that number by the total of months the loan is for the total payment amount of $828.75. So they did 360 months, which is that 30 years, then equals $298,350. Crazy. Then you finally subtract that, the loan amount, to determine how much the total payment of interest is. And they would be paying $213,350 of interest. Okay. Well, I'm happy we went over those. Those were tough. All right, so please put in the chat or shout out what other topics you guys want to go over.
Anything but math. I'm much better off with anything.
Right. My brain feels fried after that. Okay. And right. Let's see. Have we not done well? Oh, okay, we could do property ownership. Let's try. The very first one. Okay. A buyer executes a chattel mortgage in favor of a lender. Which type of property would be covered by a chattel mortgage? Is that going to be A, newly installed furnace, B, real estate, C, office, furniture and equipment, or D, automobile? Correct. Yeah. So a chattel mortgage can creates a lien on personal property. Right. Real property rights are defined in terms of bundle of rights. That includes the right to A, sell at a cheap price, B, build a house, C, all of the answers listed, or D, grow flowers. Right, we got C. Correct. Good job. So the figurative bundle of rights allows a fee simple owner of real property to use, enjoy, and dispose of property as they wish. So as long as they use and enjoyment of the property is legal and does not adversely affect or interfere with the right of others. When a firm is not paid after furnishing material for the construction of an apartment building, the firm may file A, a writ of liability, B, an estoppel certificate, C, deficiency judgment, or D, mechanics lien. D is correct. So that would be a mechanics lien. When payments aren't made, normally a lien would put on the property. An owner of real estate sold the same parcel of land to two different buyers at the same time. When both buyers meet at the property, they discover that they both have recorded deeds for the property. Which type of lawsuit will they file to determine who has title? That A, an eviction lawsuit, B, action to recover title, C, quiet title action, or D, civil rights lawsuit. D is correct. Good job, guys. So it'll be a quiet title action. Well, I love this topic over now. A tenant farmer upon being told the field they a tenant farmer upon being told the field they farm has been sold may have to A, vacate the property at once, B, plow under their crops, C, replant to assure the new landlord of an income, or D, vacate the property but with the right to harvest the crops at maturity. All right, D is correct. So that is going to be under the doctrine of emblements. Cool. After a buyer purchases a property, they have a survey made and find their neighbor recently built a fence on their land. This is an example of an A, party wall, B, encroachment, D, adverse possession, or C, appurtenance. All right, good job. So that would be an example of encroachment. Which would serve as evidence of a shareholder's exclusive right of possession of property owned by the shareholders' cooperation. Is that A, proprietary lease, B, gross lease, C, deed, D, net lease? Okay, we got D. So it would be B. And so it would be A. So the proprietary lease. So the net lease and the gross lease are leasehold estates. Deed convey legal, and then shareholders do not have title to the property. They live in a right of possession as a result of an acquisition of stock. Super confusing because you won't see this too often. But when it says anything about the shareholders or owning a part of the building or cooperation, it's going to be a proprietary lease or that has to do with stock. Thing that's positive. Attaching a fixture to real property, therefore making it part of the real property, is A, the doctrine of employment, B, actual annexation, C, easement by prescription, or D, adverse possession. All right, good job. So it'll be actual annexation. It's when personal property is physically attached to the real property. Rich buys a tract of land and receives an easement to cross Sam's property to assess a community lake. Rich is benefiting from the easement and thus has A, encroachment, B, encumbrance, C, dominant estate, or D, servient estate. Dominant estate, correct. Good job. These are kind of tough. But yeah, definitely knowing the difference between each one. Good work. All right. An inquiry notice is A, what the real estate broker says, B, when circumstances exist that must be investigated, C, a matter of public record, or D, what a person can actually see. All right, good job. Good work. An inquiry notice is when circumstances should alert a person to a problem that must be investigated. All right, wow, we went through those. Cool. Let's see. Anyone has anything? Or we can go ahead and just go in order. Let's try this. So land use controls and regulations. Which law requires owners of residential property to execute a lead-based paint disclosure? Is that A, Clean Water Act, B, Lead-Based Paint Hazard Reduction Act, C, Clean Soil Act, or D, Clean Air Act? Love when questions are easy. All right. Which must a real estate agent give a potential buyer or tenant of residential property built before 1978? The landlord's tenant, A, the landlord's tenants of 1974, B, occupancy permits, C, a pamphlet called Protect Your Family from Lead in the Home, or D, pamphlet called Protect Your Family from Lead in the Home, and a lead-based paint disclosure. That is exactly right. And that's going to be D, a lead-based paint disclosure, as well as a copy of the Protect Your Family from Lead in the Home. The local city council decides to reduce the assessment rate for a major corporation relocating to the area to build a manufacturing plant. Such a reduction is termed A, abatement, B, ad valorem, C, amortization, or D, assignment. Okay, yeah, this is tricky. So the ad valorem means according to valuation, whereas abatement usually refers to the decrease in the assessed value of the ad valorem tax in the assessment rate used to compute the ad valorem tax. So they try to trick you by putting that in, but then again, this was a very poorly worded question. So you are like, ad valorem is a very good one as well. I was also going to say that. So which part of government's control of land sets the standards of construction for the protection of public safety? Is that A, zoning regulations, B, building codes, C, environmental regulations, or D, declarations and bylaws? Oh, I was also going to say, so building codes. So building codes set the standards builders must abide by when building houses within subdivision. How did I say this?
I was gonna go with B. I was torn between A or B.
Yeah. Again, I feel like this was worded poorly because they're referring to builders, but what they're asking for is what the government follows, controls of land sets. So it is confusing. They also follow zoning laws. So A and B again are both really good answers. Hmm. Okay, so zoning regulations affect how someone can use the land. That was the tricky part. Okay, a commercial developer purchased an old gas station on the corner of Main Street and Vine. After the buyer receives the deed to the property, they begin planning the construction of an office building. Upon discovery of underground storage tanks, which must the owner do before they build his office building? Is it A, put up a warning on the new building about the underground tanks? B, remove the tanks, test soil, remove toxic waste, and refill and retest the site for contamination? C, sue the previous owner for not disclosing the presence of the tank? Or D, fill the tanks with sand? All right, B is correct. Good job. All right, well, the valuation and market analysis. Cities can best be defined as an area of preference, which can attribute value. B, a piece of land that has been enhanced and is ready for a structure. C, when the property is joined to increase value. Or D, the joining of several parcels of land. I love when they put in random vocab words to stump you guys. Good job. A is correct. An area of preference which can attribute to value. A large manufacturer is building a factory in Flint. This will be a definite economic boost to the city. How will this affect home prices in this area? A, home prices will fall. B, there is no real way to determine this. C, will make no immediate difference. Or D, home prices will rise. D is correct. Good job. So supply and demand. Which income is calculated by subtracting vacancy and and collection losses from gross income. Is that A, gross income, B, capital gain, C, net income, or D, effective gross income? The effective gross income is correct. Good job. Yeah, I try to be tricky with these questions. Okay. Which type of income is calculated by subtracting a figure for vacancy and collection losses from gross income? What? We just had this. Weird. A large manufacturer. Oh my gosh, why are they all the same? Home prices will rise. A site can best be defined as, oh, these are all the same questions. Oh no, this one is not situs. This is a site can be best defined as a piece of land that has been enhanced and ready for structure. See, look, they trick you just like that. So a site is a piece of land that has been enhanced and is ready for structure, and then the situs is an area of preference which can attribute value to the land. Sorry guys. Definitely been staring at my screen for way too long. Okay, so which type of income is used to determine a property's gross rent multiplier? Is that A, net income, B, gross income, C, capital gain, D, effective gross income? Oh, oh no. Well, let me go back. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened. Wait. Okay, we could go back and review. Sorry, I don't know what I hit and went too fast past that one. Okay, so what best defines highest and best use of land? Is that A, the use of the land allows for minimum depreciation. B, the land produces the highest total gross annual income. C, the use of the land results in the highest net income attributable to land. Or D, the land is in compliance with zoning and deed restrictions. Okay. We both have okay, so C. So the highest and best use results in the highest net income attributable to the land rather than the total gross income. All right, that was a tricky one. When using the market data approach, which is true? A, differences in features and amenities are adjusted based on their cost. B, consideration must be given to changes in the comparables since they sold. C, adjustments are made to the subject property to reflect its differences from the typical home in the area. Or D, adjustments are made to comparable values to reflect differences from the subject property. So which is true? Oh, right, good job. So it would be D. Adjustments are made to the comparable values to reflect the subject property. So adjustments are made to the comparables to reflect differences between the subject property and the comparables property on the days they sold. Good work. Okay, the income approach is probably most appropriate for what type of building or land? A, residential property in a desirable area. B, apartment building. C, museum. Or D, historic residential home. Income approach is correct. So that would be an apartment building. The income approach is best used for income producing properties, aka an apartment building. All right. Let's see. Sorry, the question that I So which type of income is used to determine a property's gross rent income? Is gonna be gross rent multiplier is gonna be gross income. So this question, it'll be gross income. I love that they put all the questions down right here. Okay, good job, guys.